talking, hey, what's on your mind? She's on the inside, she got the scoop on the ones to watch, on the ones that's hot. No one can do it quite like Caroline.
Hey y'all, it's Caroline Hobby and welcome to my show Get Real from the Music City, capital of the world. In each episode, I get the real story from the most inspiring, interesting people in Nashville, Tennessee. I have done everything in the music entertainment industry. I was in the trio Stealing Angels with 2 top 50 country charting songs, a finalist and runner-up on season 22 and season 24 of The Amazing Race. You can currently catch me on CMT's hit show, I Love Kelly Pickler. I am an entertainment news correspondent and host for the TV show Nashville Insider, and my podcast, Get Real with Caroline Hobby, was featured on iTunes' New and Noteworthy and charted on iTunes' Top 200 podcast. I'm also married to the smoking hot front man, Michael Hobby, of the #1 chart-topping band, 1,000 Horses. So buckle up and get ready to get real with me, Caroline Hobby. Welcome to my show.
Oh my goodness! Hey. I'm with my 2 favorite Ashleys. We got Ashley Wilson and Ashley Houston. Not Houston.
Yes, my father-in-law would be really unhappy
Houston.
if I said Houston. Houston.
Ashley Houston, okay.
Yes.
And not only are you guys beautiful, inside and out.
Thank you.
You're incredible mothers. We have a baby here with us today.
Always a baby in this group.
Wilder is Ashley Wilson's youngest, and we're just doing a little milk bottle right now. Bottle service. But y'all are
service, buddy.
also incredible bloggers. So, we gotta talk about everything.
Okay, chat it out.
Okay, first off, where are y'all from? How did you get into fashion? What was your upbringing like?
Go Ash.
Go Ashley
All right.
Houston.
I'm from Kingsport, Tennessee, which is northeast Tennessee. And I already forgot the rest of your question.
Okay, so what was your upbringing like, and how did you get into fashion?
Upbringing, like
how did you grow up? Were you like?
I was like, are we trying to get deep over here? Like, I don't know what's going on.
Go deep real fast.
Go deep.
Yeah.
Were you like a nature girl?
I
Were you
was
city
pretty much a
girl?
tomboy.
Okay.
Yeah, up until middle school, and then I basically had to choose between like cheerleading and basketball.
Was that a tough choice?
It was
How did
because
you make that?
I wanted to be popular, so I chose cheerleading.
But you really loved basketball the
yeah,
most?
yeah.
What position did you play?
I don't remember. That was so long
you were
ago.
probably point guard. You were fast, I bet.
I was pretty fast,
Yeah.
so I was a sprinter also in school.
So you chose cheerleading, okay.
So I chose cheerleading.
Were you happy with that choice?
Yeah, I love cheerleading
Okay.
actually. Yeah.
Okay.
And I cheered all through school and in college, and then I didn't cheer anymore.
You cheered in college.
Mm-hmm.
What
For
is that like to
1
cheer
year.
in college?
It was pretty chill. It was like a really chill college.
Okay.
So, and that's why I stopped cheering, because I was a competitive cheerleader.
Dang,
And like
the
did
ones that you
stunts.
see on TV?
Yeah.
Holy cow.
And they didn't really do that. They didn't even do like stunts period. And I was
More
like,
danger.
okay, I'm not there to like actually cheer. So I wanted to do like the stunts. So I quit. And then I moved here when I was 26.
Okay, now what brought you to Nashville?
Honestly, I just needed a change. Like,
Okay.
yeah.
And Nashville's close and also a great city.
Yeah, and I had a friend that had moved here, and I didn't know anyone here, and I just like packed my stuff up. My lease was up in like 3 weeks, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna move. And so I put all my stuff in storage, and I came here and stayed with her until I found a job and a place to stay. And
Were you scared?
I was, but like I'm not like a sporadic person. I'm a planner. I'm really anal, so that was really out of my element for me to do that.
How did you get the sensation that this is what you're supposed to do? I just interviewed Shaylee the other day, and she's like, I'd never been to Nashville, but I just knew I had to
I
go
hadn't
there.
either, actually. I don't know. I think honestly, probably partially because it was the closest big city was a big factor in it. But I just always, I grew up in a really small town, so like I always just knew I wasn't meant to be in a small town. And nothing against
Yes.
small towns, but
I
I
had
just
that
knew
same
that that
feeling
wasn't
too.
me. Yeah, and I was like, I got to get out of here. And
So
I knew if I didn't do it right then, like on a whim, that I wouldn't do it.
Totally get that.
So I was like, I'm just gonna do it, and I just did it, and it was like, clearly the best decision I ever made, because like I love life, but I also like reconnected with my husband, who I knew we're from the same town actually.
He's from your town, your small town.
My best friend babysat for his family.
Stop.
Yeah.
So you grew up with your husband.
I
and
did, but
years
I
apart?
didn't know him. Like I knew him because my best friend babysat for his family, but his family was like rich. in small town and mine was not. And I went to like the county school and he went to the city school. So he was like
He was like a big deal.
fancier than me. Yeah, he lived in the nice neighborhood. I lived in like, I mean, not that I was poor by any means, but like we were just different. But my best friend babysat for his family, and so I stayed in his house before when he was out of town. But he's also younger than me, and so we talked about this the other night. Yeah, and so I would never talk to him. You know? Yeah, that's
On Puma.
Like 5 years or under.
Yeah, I call
Yeah.
myself a Puma also,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
he looks older than me, but he's
Because
actually
you look fine, girl.
he's actually younger though.
Well,
And so yeah, we reconnected.
Wilder, who is
This is my other boyfriend.
Ashley Wilson's little boy, is just staring at Ashley Houston with loving eyes.
like loves me so much.
He's crushing. Hey, he's got good taste.
Crush.
Like for real, when I brought her dinner a few weeks ago and I was like holding him for her, he looked at me like this the whole time, like,
So lovely.
and I was like, "Can I take him?"
See, not even that. Like, you brought her dinner weeks ago. That is so great. Y'all are not only like beautiful people, awesome moms, but like incredible bloggers, but you're friends that support each
Yeah.
other. And that is something that I have loved. This influencer series has been such a treat because I don't know how I got to fall into this group because y'all are so much more advanced, cooler, awesome than me as with social
Stop
media
it.
influencing in that world. But I have loved getting to know you guys because not only are you talented, y'all all are so supportive, and this whole group is so kind to each other. And that isn't always the case in blogger world.
No, it's not.
It's really not, and I didn't realize that until we are part of a Facebook group with other bloggers, and they just talk about how competitive in each little niche market it can be, and how it's a little cutthroat. But
Well-
Nashville has a really great communal vibe with bloggers, and everyone's kind and encouraging, and it's the way to be. There's room for it is saturated, but there's still room for everyone.
Yeah.
There really is, and I think that's what people don't understand. Like, Ashley and I are kind of similar in our niches, if you say that correctly.
I say it
But
wrong.
like,
niche.
yeah, I never know if
In
I'm
your
saying that
niche.
correctly. But I never feel competitive with Ashley ever.
Even though
like,
you sort of have a similar
yeah, I mean,
vibe.
heck, we have
yeah.
the same name. But
You're
like,
both mom bloggers.
but yeah, we're both
fashion.
mom, fashion, lifestyle bloggers, and she has 2 boys. I have 2 girls. Like, it's kind of like plays off each other. But like, I never ever like. If anything, I feel like I'll be like, oh, I'm working with this brand. Do you want this contact? Like, I think it would be a good fit for you too. And I feel like we help each other a lot. And like, not only do I not feel competitive, but I feel like we like
Support.
grow off of each
Support,
other.
yeah.
Like,
Why do you think so many people don't catch that memo?
I think
It's
insecurity.
an easy world to be competitive in. It's very, especially when you're in fashion and home decor and all these things, it's easy to be keeping up with the Joneses.
Yeah.
It's easy to play the numbers game, to see, oh, she has so many thousand, now she's grown to this many thousand. It's very, very easy to be competitive.
And then you're like, why am I not
But
growing like this?
It's just, oh yeah, all the time. But it's just as easy to be kind and encouraging. It's just a mindset, and you just have to focus on it. But some people just don't see that, you know.
and they just want it all. When really, actually trying to have
You
it all
can
makes
get
you
it
have
all
less
much-
though.
Yeah, it really does. So basically, like, every time that you are friends with somebody and you're encouraging them and you're helping them, not only are you, building a relationship and helping each other, but you can siphon their audience. So if she has a similar audience to me, yes, it is competitive, but we have the same demographic as our audience, so I can siphon that from her and she can siphon mine, and it helps in the long run.
yeah.
It's a much
I feel
better
like
way to
people
go.
shouldn't be as competitive in the sense that like, and I'm not gonna lie and say that I don't feel that way sometimes. Meaning like if I see
It's human
someone
nature.
growing or that got a good brand deal, I'm not like, oh my god, I mean, and I am happy for them, but
But you're
sometimes
also like-
sometimes I'm like, why don't I get that, or why am I not growing like that? Like it's that's just human nature.
Right.
But it's just the way you handle that. I feel like that defines your character.
Totally.
But touching on what she said, like 100%, like her success is my success, in my opinion. Like, and my success is her success, because if she grows, that's technically helping me, and if I grow,
Y'all
that's helping
collaborate,
her.
y'all are gonna
So
help each other
that's
with
why,
the
like,
fan base.
I think it's so good to build your friends up, because like you're helping each other.
And also,
you
how much
are-
fun is it to hang out with everyone?
Yeah.
Way more fun when everyone's in the same playing field. And also, you are who your best friends are and who
Right.
you surround yourself with. So if
Yeah.
you surround yourself with successful people that are positive and happy and doing big things, then that's what you're destined to do
gonna
as
rub off.
well. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay, so Ashley Wilson, tell me a little bit about your upbringing and how you got to Nashville.
You may take
Okay,
it.
so do you want to go to your girlfriend?
Oh my gosh, Wilder.
Hey, buddy.
Oh,
He's the sweetest.
You can concentrate on talking.
So I grew up outside of St. Louis in a small farm town, very small town, same as Ash. And the only thing to really do is focus on sports or dance or something like that. So I put all my energy into dance and cheer and competitive gymnastics.
So y'all both are cheerleaders too.
Yes,
Y'all are
we're
really
just the same
similar.
person.
I know.
Oh yeah.
You really are so similar.
It's so funny, really. But no one was really into fashion. My parents did not understand it at all, and they would give me, you know, a budget for Christmas or whatever it was, or pick out a present for something. And my sister would get 50 different things and items, and I just always had it in me. I just wanted that one designer piece, and I was perfectly content with my one little thing compared to her 50. It just was part of me.
You wanted like quality always.
Yeah, always. And my grandmother was an artist. She's very artistic, and she is my inspiration. I love her, and she would always take me shopping. She kind of was a dress designer for a while, and like did some sewing, and so I really kind of got that from her. And then as far as like the blogging thing, I was always part of a team. So I was always
Like a
like
cheer
a dance
team.
a cheer team.
Teams are
Gymnastics.
fun.
Yeah,
I love being on
always.
teams.
Same.
love
I
teams.
danced in college, and so I danced in college, NBA, NFL. So I was on a team with other women that were always built-in friends, built-in teammates.
So it's
built-in
always a good
encouragers.
experience.
Yeah, for me
you.
it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I was like that my whole life, and so when I moved to be with my husband, I was not part of a team anymore.
Like, where's
and
my
I
team?
really,
Where's my
really, I know,
posse?
where's my team at? And I really miss that feeling like of community and like of, you know, just a built-in little family, second family. And so whenever I tried several different things in fashion, I did styling. I actually, Bow and Arrow, Nashville was the name of the boutique that I was going to start with my girlfriend. And she ended up starting a successful men's store called Ruckle and Ryan.
Just went there yesterday.
You did?
Michael,
Oh, good.
that's one of his favorite
He
clothes
loves
from
it.
Ruckle and Ryan.
It's awesome. Yeah.
So great.
She decided to take that route, and then I decided to kind of go in the blogger influencer space.
Sorry.
And then I became part of a team again, and part of like a communal vibe with other women that can help each other. And I really
How did
love
this
that.
team form? Like, how did y'all? Like, how did the two Ashleys meet?
Okay, so how did it form?
Oh, you know, so it's like weird because I feel like you just follow people because you want to support them, and they're like in Nashville, and so I think we just followed each other for when I very first started blogging, like, because I think
We
Ashley was
started
already blogging, so like I would
close to the same
find
time.
people that kind of had blogged in Nashville, and then so my best friend Jessica and I went to
And that's Jess Southern.
Yes.
She's awesome.
I was pregnant, and Ashley had just had a baby, George.
Oh yeah.
So we alternated our pregnancies, basically. And so she had just had her baby. I followed her on social media. She followed me. And I don't know if you even remember this,
I
our
don't
actual.
remember this.
Your love
Actually, I don't
story.
even think we physically met, but then I messaged you after, and I was like, oh my God, I didn't even realize that was you. So anyways, I went to St. Anejo before my husband's
Just a restaurant.
event. Yeah. And with Jessica, and then we ran into Mallory. And yes.
Oh my gosh!
And
I do
so
remember this
we
now.
ran
These are two
into
other great influencers.
yeah, we ran into Mallory in the bathroom, and I knew Mallory, but Jessica didn't. And then
And that's before Mallory started doing any of this too, probably.
she was doing
She
it
was
already,
doing it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so
Okay.
she was like talking to Jessica because Jessica is like a makeup goddess, and she
Yes.
was like, "Oh my God, I'm obsessed with you." And Jessica was like, "Hey," and so that's how they met, actually, too.
In the bathroom,
Yeah,
stayed in the
Oh my
yeah.
gosh, I didn't even remember.
Yeah, so
any of
Ashley
this.
wasn't
Thanks
there
for
yet.
bringing up our
But
story.
so I was like, yeah, I was gonna go to that event upstairs, but like I can't. And she's like, just go for a second. It was like a boot event or something. I walk upstairs and Ashley was sitting at this table. I literally feel like I'm telling a love story right now. This is hilarious.
I like that.
And Ashley was sitting at the table, and I remember I kept looking at her and being like, God, I know that girl from somewhere. I know that girl from somewhere, but I couldn't like place how I knew her, social media, because I never actually met her in person.
It's like I know everything about you,
yeah,
but we've never
well,
met.
so
Never actually met.
I just kept like looking at her like a creeper because I was like, oh, I can't figure out how I know her. And anyways, we were just there briefly, and then Jessica and I went to Matt's event, but I'm not trying to give him to you, but you can take him. I was like, he's bouncing.
And
But-
Matt's your husband and also an event planner. Or not an event planner.
no,
an
he
event-
used to be in it.
Okay.
No, he was nominated for like
Okay.
something for
That's your
Nashville.
personality in the.
It was like Man of the Year or something like that. But I messaged Ashley and I was like, hey, I didn't want you to think I was being rude because I didn't say hi, but like I couldn't figure.
Yeah, I was like, it's okay.
But I was like, but I think that I saw you at this event and da, da, da. And then she wrote me back and she was like, oh my God, yeah, I didn't know. Anyways, it was just like that. And then we would like started like commenting on each other's stuff.
After George too.
And she looked amazing, by the way.
Yeah.
Both of you mamas look like you've never had children, and y'all both had 2. And I'm like over here.
I'm like, you're crazy.
I'm not, but I have had no babies, and I'm like, y'all look like your swimsuit models. So I gotta figure out how you do that. Okay, so that started your love story. What year was that?
2016?
Yeah,
2016. So that was
2016.
recently.
Actually, it was April of 2000. No, it was April
Oh
or
my
May.
gosh, Ash, I'm so impressed.
This is like marked time for Ashley. I love this.
Wow.
I mean, listen, I remember when I was with both of y'all, so I mean, I feel like.
I love it. But then quickly after that, we've been together like a lot because we used to live.
Well, we
Like
lived
5
really close
minutes.
together. We still
Oh.
kind of do though.
Yeah.
But like,
Kids the same age.
yeah, we just
Yeah.
had a lot in
It's
common.
so much more fun to hang out with a friend when you're
Yeah.
momming and
And
vlogging.
I mean, I
right.
love my other friends, don't get me wrong, but like, it's just different when your friend has kids and they understand. And it's also different when they do the same thing that you do. So
Totally.
I
You're
mean,
interested in all the same stuff.
Yeah,
and
we're
then
in the same season of life.
yeah, and we just,
Mhm.
I mean, it came to like at first like texting each other about like work stuff.
Yeah.
And then it just like evolved, I feel like, because we just had so much in common. Like,
So tell me how y'all decided separately to start a blog. Like, how did you realize like that fashion and lifestyle blogging is my passion? Because I'm all about people finding their passions and following their calling and like just living their life in a way where you can make money doing what you love.
Yeah.
Right.
Because that's the only way to live.
Yeah,
and y'all
for
have
sure.
figured out a way to be moms, to fulfill your passion, and then have this great community. So how did you, but you probably didn't know all that was going to happen when you started your blog.
I'll let Ashley take off with that
I definitely
first.
didn't know it was going to happen. So whenever I first started this, I was just looking, I was kind of lost a little bit of what to do.
And that's a
And-
normal feeling that
Yeah,
I like to talk about
completely.
because so many people are lost. Like after you graduate college or like you're in those 20s, you don't know what to do and you feel like stressed out and like your life is over and like what am I supposed to do? Am I ever gonna find purpose? It's a really normal feeling to feel. Wilder understands. He's like,
He
Mom,
likes it.
I got you.
he
girl."
has learned his voice.
So I was doing some styling and working in and out of a couple boutiques just a little bit, but I was trying to find something where I could still, this is pre-baby, which was not very long ago, but I've had 2 in 2 years, but
14 months apart.
oh yeah. So I was looking for something where I could still travel with Trey and still.
And your husband's in the music industry. He's a
He is,
manager.
yeah.
He's awesome. Who
He
are some of
is.
his
He
band-
is
what's his
pretty
band?
awesome. Well, his baby band, his main one is Black Gray Smoke.
That's his
who,
like heart and soul.
Michael,
My
your
husband.
husband, used to open for
I
it
know.
back in the day, which is such a small
Such a small
world.
world. And
Yes.
now we're all hanging out again.
Yes, so now he's got some other new clients, and it's crazy, but
Yeah.
that was our
Neither here
story.
nor there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're traveling with him.
So I was traveling with him all the time, and I still wanted to travel, but I needed something for myself. And in Nashville, I really only knew people in the music scene through Trey. I didn't really have my own friends necessarily, or my own friend circle. And I was just really craving that. So my friend Brittany and I did want to open a boutique, and we were really, we had the business plan, we had a realtor, we were trying to find a space, doing the whole 9 yards. It just wasn't working. It was like square peg, round hole. It just wasn't quite working.
And when you feel that, explain that feeling, because I've had that happen to me many times in my life where I'm presented with this incredible opportunity, but yet it's just not coming together. There's resistance where you could push through and make it happen, but in your gut, you know that
It was
it's not
just
the
a
right
gut
path.
feeling. It was just a gut feeling, and I'm all about going with my gut feeling.
Even
I
if it's
just-
risky to
Even
give
if it's
something
risky,
up.
completely. And I still sometimes am like, what if that would have worked? But this was pre-pregnancy, and I became pregnant right after this happened, so it was meant to be. I don't think I could be in a store. I like to be a hands-on mom. I like to be home with my kids. I like to not miss a moment with them. So I don't think I could be in a store all the time and be happy with that decision.
Right.
Some people would be great at that. I
For
would
you
not be
personally,
great
it
at
wasn't a
that. Yeah,
match.
it just wasn't a match. So I followed a bunch of fashion bloggers, and I was just like, this is the gig. This is fun. So I started as just truly just fashion blogging. Just here's an outfit, here's why I like this outfit. And it was just kind of and it still didn't feel quite right.
Right.
It wasn't
But you're getting
quite.
closer. You're honing it
I was
in.
honing it in. I was getting that niche and like honing it on.
This
in.
is how people
Yeah,
find their
find
passion.
their thing.
You start in a field that you think you like and then you just start whittling it down and trying it out.
1,000%.
It's like that's how you
Yeah.
learn what you're supposed to do.
And I was going from the styling, and I was still styling too, but it was like taking that styling and putting it into this artistic form of photography and fashion and everything. So I liked that, but then I had George, and I kind of took a 6-month break and
Right.
didn't really, I just spent all my time with him. I didn't really do it, and I didn't really feel right just doing fashion with George too.
Right.
So now I've kind of developed and evolved into this more omnipresent space where it's home decor, it's mom life, it's fashion, it's everything that's part of my life, and it's just kind of, it's essentially monetizing where did you get that shirt? Where did you get that recipe? It's just kind of monetizing your life and making it a brand. And for me, that just makes perfect sense because I get to keep all my moments with these precious boys, but then I also get to do something for myself that kind of curating artistic content and also providing a service for people for inspiration, and it just all kind of fits.
Tell me about this new brand. Tell me about your new brand
Okay,
and
so
how excited are your brand.
for anybody that's looking to start a business, really do your research on branding because I
Talk to us
just
about
kind of
that.
changed my name, A Bow and Arrow Nashville, which was the boutique, and we had saved the URL and the Instagram and the Facebook from the boutique, and I just changed it into the to the blog. But really, it wasn't paralleling where my life was. It was made for the boutique, and it just wasn't quite making as much sense anymore. So I decided to change it to Bows and Ashley. Bows being my boys and my husband, and then that being more of where my life is now. So I think that when you brand, and also I didn't realize that there were so many bow and arrows. So I thought about just changing it to Bow and Arrow and dropping the Nashville because it's truly bigger than just Nashville.
Right.
And side note, whenever you're doing a business, act like it's going to be the biggest thing in the world. And it will be because I believe in the power of manifesting those thoughts and positive thinking. But 2, you really need to have your brand, your everything set up as if it were going to be a multi-million-dollar
So tell me those things that you need to set up for someone who's wanting to brand and chime in too with this. Like, what do you need?
Look into the name and make sure that it's unique. No one else has it. So there's so many bow and arrows. There's event planning companies. There's other blogs. There's boutiques. There's just tons and tons of other bow and arrows. So for me, I had to switch it because I needed something that was unique and paralleled with my life better.
Right.
So for me, there's such a big part of it. He's a jumper.
He is.
That Bows and my boys are the biggest part of my life, and I
Bows
wanted
and
it to
Ashley.
be a part of it. So when you're looking, make sure that the URL is available, the Facebook's available, the Instagram's available, and it's unique and it's on brand with what you're wanting to accomplish.
Okay. So you
Can I
more
put you in your
from
little
just
jumper?
fashion to like who you are.
Right.
I am sweating right now.
And it's a strange thing for your brand to be your life, and it's
I
a
know.
crazy thing, but it works in a weird way.
Well, and especially new moms too, wives and new mothers, because I feel like so many new moms, they don't have the time to go spend to figure out all the fashion, unless that's like your job or your interest. Like
Right.
it's just too much energy to have to go figure out the home decor, to figure out the fashion, to do all that stuff. So you'd rather identify
Somebody else do
people
the work.
that you love and relate to, and just be like, okay, this is my girl.
Well, and you trust. That's
Yes.
another thing.
Yeah, building trust
Oh.
is the biggest.
Like
and talk about
and
that.
and Ashley, same thing. But like
Talk to me about
I
building trust.
don't recommend something that I haven't either used myself or that I have been wanting to use. Like I don't just
You don't just do it for
I don't
free.
just take a paycheck.
Yeah.
Girl, I don't do free.
Like, yeah. Actually, I'm going to talk about all that too. Tell me
Yeah.
how you started your blog.
Okay. So
And the biggest things that you encourage people in starting a blog.
I'm actually doing a 3-part series vlog on that.
Sorry,
the first
baby.
one, you're good, is how to start a blog, and then the second one is how to monetize it, and the third one is, and then the second one is how to grow your following.
Okay, so let's talk about how you started your blog, then all 3 of those points.
Well, I'll give you summaries, but you have to go to the blog.
Okay,
first.
yes.
But yeah, so I lost my train of thought.
How did you start your blog?
So I kind of had, and I'm just gonna be honest, a little bit of a following already just because of Jessica.
Jess Southern, her name is Jess Southern. She's on
yeah.
Jesse Jane Decker's show on E!
Yeah,
So
and she's a
big
bomb celebrity makeup artist. But she built that even before
Before
the
that.
TV show. But yeah, I mean honestly, yeah, because people do that because they cycle
Yeah.
off each other.
Yep.
So so I had maybe like 3,000 followers, which is pretty good for a regular person, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I had people message me all the time and be like, how do you do your makeup? Or just stuff like, because mine's more makeup and beauty and hair than fashion. I do love fashion, but I wouldn't say that's like my number one thing because I live in yoga pants all the time. But I love to get dressed up. I mean,
Yeah.
But mine was mainly makeup. And I'm not a makeup artist, but I feel like I'm really good at makeup. And I really research it a lot too, though. Like, it wasn't just like it came to me. Like, I would read magazines. Yeah. Like, I would just rip pages out of magazines and I would make file folders.
Yeah.
And I'm crazy like that. Like, about recipes, about makeup, hair, skincare, all of that. And I thought that was a doorbell.
I think it is.
Oh, is it?
Who's here?
Who's here?
Oh, well, this is a fun little segue because
Is
it's
it
actually Ashley Wilson's photographer. And another thing people don't realize is all these pictures that look so good, a lot of times a real professional on Instagram.
Yeah, well, and
A real professional photographer is taking them.
well, and that's okay. I'm going to touch on that too. Remind me to touch on
Okay,
that.
we're gonna touch on that.
Okay, and so, is it Chelsea?
We got a party going on in here.
Sorry, this is real life.
No, this is real life. That's why it's called Get Real.
A little.
Is it Chelsea?
No, this is Cindy.
Oh, hey.
Oh,
She's gonna
Okay.
take a ride.
hi.
Hi. Nice to meet y'all. Okay, so continue.
So I had a bunch of people message me, asking me questions, and I would always answer them just because I felt, like I should. And I was like, what? And then I kind of, touching on what Ashley said, I would see this, because it was new, I guess, semi-new then. And I was like, why don't I just monetize this?
Yeah.
Like, I'm already answering these questions.
For nothing.
I'm
for
already
free.
telling these people what skincare to buy. And I mean, and so let me just first off say that to start a blog, it takes a lot of work.
How do you
I don't know
start
why
a
I'm
blog?
looking at the camera because it's not even in.
How do you start
A
a
lot
blog?
of people don't realize.
So I think a lot of people, and that's like the number one question that I get is, how do you start a blog? And I'm like, okay, this is
Number
not
one.
just me answering you in an Instagram message.
Right.
Like, this is a lot. So, and
It's a
it's way
business.
too much for me to even go into right
What are
now.
some of the
But
highlights of starting a blog that you need to know?
I mean, touching on what Ashley said, your name is very important. So like that took me the longest time, was figuring out my name.
Branding.
And then, your website, finding who's going to host your website, finding out I literally taught myself everything. I didn't hire anyone to do my website. I coded everything myself.
Wow.
So, and I'm
YouTube.
not a
Google.
yeah,
stuff,
I was like,
YouTube,
I'm not a
figure out
tech
how to do
person.
it.
Yeah,
YouTube is
I
a
watched a
lot
lot of
of
tutorials, and I spent a lot of time on that before I actually went live with my blog. And so basically, you have to build up your website first before you can like start posting stuff on
Like,
it
get
and make
it
sure,
ready.
and like the theme, like what it looks like. Not just having a website, like making it look aesthetically nice. And so then after all of that, then I went live with it, and then
Sorry.
I
Now
lost.
we got Georgie. We got boy number 2, Bo number 2.
Hey, can you go upstairs to the playroom?
Oh, he just saw the camera and literally looked at it and goes,
Are you a little show off?
Yeah, Georgie. He's got all sorts of skills.
Will you go upstairs, please?
See, this is real life. This is why these are boss babes right now. This is
We
this is
definitely
a day
juggle.
in the life.
We juggle. It's a lot of patience and a lot of hard work
And it's-
every single day.
And you just have to be okay with it all. You know?
Ashley laughs because every time I come over here without my kids, because usually I come over here without them, she's like, you thought you were escaping your kids, but you're helping.
There's no escape.
But
Okay, so back to blogging.
Okay.
You make sure the name works aesthetically.
yeah,
pleasing.
you got to
So
get the
were
website
answering
looking
all
good.
these questions,
Yeah, and
then you're like,
so I was like, I'm already answering all these questions. I'm just gonna funnel it into that. And so then I started the blog. So I kind of like Ashley said, I initially started with fashion, just honestly because I thought that's what I was supposed to do.
Yeah.
And
was it easy in?
I also felt very unfulfilled and very surface.
Just doing fashion.
Yeah, I just don't like it. And no judgment to the people that do that, because I know
No.
how hard it is and how much work it is. But I just felt fake. And I was like, this isn't what I'm trying to accomplish. And so I was like, I want to start incorporating recipes and stuff with my kids and like my life, because my life isn't fashion. Like, I love it, But the truth is, like I said, I wear yoga pants most of the time.
Right.
So like I don't even get to dress up that much.
Right.
And so I just slowly started adding in.
You want it to be more authentic to who you are.
Yeah, and my name is Lifestyles. That's the whole point. It's like lifestyles, get it? Like, but Lifestyles.
Nashville
Like, yeah, haha. So I'm like, it's my life.
Right.
So my life isn't fashion. So yeah,
It's a piece of it, but it's not.
Exactly.
Right.
And so like, but people tell you like, oh, you have to pick a niche. No, you don't actually. Like mine is lifestyle,
You
which
can
is
do a lifestyle.
everything that embodies me. And you just have to have a healthy balance of it. No, you can't do straight fashion and then all of a sudden be like, oh, I'm just going to start doing, home decor or whatever. You have to like slowly start filtering it in, and then you have to make it like well-rounded on your blog. And like I am very particular now. No, I wasn't in the beginning, but now I'm starting to realize that like looking at my feed and placing things strategically.
You do that like
Yeah.
thing where you
Like if you look at my feed right now, I have a straight row that's my family and children. I have a straight row that's like fashion. Like I try to make it a healthy blend. And it's like Ashley and I were talking about this the other day, but like every, 6 or so picture I do of a home decor or skincare or whatever. So it's not just like.
So tell me what your posts consist of. Like what are the posts that you guys, and what are the categories?
I think
you're
that we're
posting about?
pretty similar in the fact that it's recipes.
Okay,
Because
recipes.
both of us.
Don't mind the child.
No, it's fine.
Hey, it's life. This is life. This is y'all's life.
Yeah.
I
Recipes?
do mom life.
What does
whether
mom life
it's-
mean?
Whether it's like fashion with the boys or just talking
Kid
about
products.
struggles or kid products or what things I use or whatever it may be, mom life, fashion, beauty, skincare, that kind of thing, hair stuff, home decor, and then healthy living. So recipes and just
Fitness.
things like that.
Yeah.
Just how to live a healthy lifestyle.
Do you
And
post
for
them
me,
all
even
equally?
the fashion, just so
not.
that it feels not equally.
No.
Do you have a more like one of is more of your number one topic?
For me, fashion does the best for me, but I was getting really it wasn't seeming real to just talk about an outfit all the time. It wasn't fulfilling to me.
Right.
It wasn't giving me what I needed out of this. And so, just ignore George. So whenever I do fashion, I try to pair the pictures and a cool photo shoot and fashion ideas that people can go to with a subject matter that is important to me.
Right,
So with
right.
something that goes a little deeper, or talking about being competitive and talking about for like girl friendships, or talking about something with it. So
Right.
the picture might be perfect on the Instagram, it might look great in fashion, but there's like more meat on the bones.
With the caption.
Yeah.
And then that caption
in the
goes
blog.
to the blog.
Right,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So
I
it
like
gives
that.
me like a way to still express myself and still have.
As you're giant.
I'm trying to maintain my composure right now. I'm like, I wonder if my sister's about to cry.
She is.
Well, Sydney's up there.
Okay.
It's okay. It's okay.
I'm out.
Okay.
And this is mom life. This is what is so hard. There's
No,
so much
I
planning that goes.
100% relate. So
People don't realize how much work goes into a blog and how much time goes into it. But when there's kids and you
You
stay
have to
home
put
with
it
your
on
kids,
pause.
yeah.
you have to put it on pause, but you also have to be so. Time management is so important. Like I do all of it during nap time, late at night.
Yeah.
It's
I think
It's
anyone
hard,
who
hard, hard
is
work.
a mom is listening totally relates to
And
this.
that's why I love this. And when y'all are like, there might be kids crying, it's like that is.
Yeah.
This is what it is. So.
Well, it's just like she said, like I say this to my friends that do not have kids that blog. I'm like, soak it up. Like, because when you have kids, you're not, I'm like, you have no reason to not be killing it right now.
Right.
Like, you have no excuse in my mind, because I am not being cocky by saying this, but I'm like, I'm doing all of this
And you have
and
kids.
staying at home with my children. And so I only, like, Ashley can do it when they're napping or late at night when they're asleep or the weekends when my husband's in town. So if you don't have kids and you're not
better
killing
knock it out of the
you're
park.
doing something wrong.
So-
Because Ashley and I bust our butts.
Tell me how you grow your followers and how you get these brand deals, and then tell me like when can you start charging for posts?
I think now, having the
as soon as you
experience, you
have-
should start charging. As soon as you have
George.
5,000 organic
Uh huh.
followers or so, like, to to where you have an actual engagement and followers that are trusting you, I think that you should start charging.
What can you charge
I
for
personally don't
5,000?
even think that the number matters. I think that as soon as you are a true influencer, meaning people are actually listening to what you're putting up, and when you put something up, people are buying or doing or taking action.
Yeah.
Then that means you can start.
Like you have an
charging.
actual influence.
Okay.
As soon as you have an actual influence, because the number to me is not nearly as important as the engagement.
How do you
and the
know your
influence.
engagement?
So
Just comments and likes.
comments,
Which, I mean,
likes,
that's
but
easy
there's
too.
even more
'Cause-
to it. DMs,
Yeah,
messages, just whenever you know that you are truly making an impact and having an influence.
Like when you post
then
something
can start
and
charging.
someone messages you specifically about that
That
item,
post,
or
yeah.
you know, like it's just not even like the what's your lipstick or what's your like for example, like a lifestyle brand, and they're like, oh, like what I've been trying to eat healthier, like what's a good yogurt, like stuff like that. They're actually wanting your opinion on it. Like they
Yes.
think that you
You know.
I mean,
Yeah.
but you are, because you're testing it out. Like that's we're basically like reviewers.
Totally. And so
And
people,
testers for
that's
people.
why being honest
Yeah.
is so crucial, right?
Yeah.
Because if
For
people
me,
can't
it's the
believe
biggest,
you,
if you want a long-term business, I can't even tell you how many free things, using air quotes, I've turned down because it's not something I would actually authentically purchase myself. Every day I turn down free stuff, which for when you first start out is really, really difficult to do.
'Cause you want all the
Sometimes
free
take-
stuff.
'cause you want all
Yeah.
the free stuff. And now I've come to a point where I have to turn down paid gigs because it doesn't align with my brand and it
Yeah.
doesn't make sense in the long term. And building off that, the most important thing you can do in this whole space, in this influencer space, is gain trust from your followers. And the way to do that is to just be authentic to yourself every single time you post, every single day, in every way. So just authenticity is king in this whole space. Like creating good content that's authentic to you is how you do it.
so how do you get brand deals? And then how do you know, just based on your brand, is what brand deals you want? Do you reach out to brands? Do they reach out to you?
I do a healthy blend. I haven't personally been able to reach out to brands as much lately, just because things have been hectic, and that actually takes a lot of time.
The pitch is a lot. People don't realize how much the pitch is.
Yeah.
So I do reach out to brands. I go through my daily life and think, what are these
Yeah.
products that I use? What are these brands that I'm really liking right now? What are even down to the little things like the laundry detergent brand.
Or like
that I
the
really
sweetener
like,
you
or
put in
the
your coffee.
Yeah, whatever
Like,
it may be.
Things
And
you
then-
already are authentically
Things
using.
that I feel passionate about, like I really love this product for whatever reason it might be, and then I will pitch a proposal to a brand with a specific campaign detailed out, how I would promote their product, how it would work in their favor and my favor.
So
And
you don't just say
propose
let's
an
work
email.
together. You send them the plan.
Yeah.
I send them a plan, a campaign plan. And when I send it to them, it's pretty detailed, and it can even include a media kit, which just has a rundown of, past partnerships that you've done,
The
some
services you
numbers,
offer.
the services you offer, and then that's how I start because that's the most authentic. That's what I'm actually using in my life.
I love that.
And then sometimes there's agencies that work with brands, and they're kind of a middleman.
Yeah, it's basically like the bloggers world of applying for jobs.
Right.
You go on there and you apply for these specific campaigns. So
And
let's
you let
say
them know your
for
qualities.
Yes.
Yes.
Your
so well, it's already on there.
Or
So
they
like
can align with somebody that they think. So I will get emails from a brand or from an agency, and you can kind of align with ones that you work. So if there is someone that reaches out and I hadn't heard of them, but it's a way to find a new brand, but I truly like it.
Yeah.
And that
Then it's a good match.
like it's something you
Right.
think you would use.
Yeah.
Yes.
So would you tell your followers, I haven't used this, but I've
Yeah.
loved it for a long time.
I would
try
never
it.
post about it until I actually tried it.
Okay.
So I would, and if I truly didn't like it when they sent it, I've sent stuff back before and said, this, like one time I really liked this necklace, but the second that I pulled it out of the bag, it literally broke in my hand. The first second, it was just not a good quality, just didn't feel right. So I just sent it back and said, I just don't think this is gonna work because I didn't want to promote that.
To your
baby.
followers.
and then have people message you and be like, that broke.
And then right, and then the quality not be there. So I always try it before I post it because
Okay.
we are kind of like reviewers. And
Yeah. So I'm really, really active on Insta stories. That's like my main thing. So
And
I try
that's
to
a
be
great
like,
place to try
I think
things
it's
out.
yeah. And so like I will show them the whole process. So
Yeah.
I will be like, hey, I haven't tried this, but I'm trying it now. I'm
Right.
going to show you guys like my because I told you I just started this supplement company or supplement thing last weekend. So like right now I'm kind of going through the process with my followers because I can't personally recommend it right this moment, but I can tell you how I'm feeling on day 4 and day 5.
Yes.
And then after, you know, a couple weeks or however long it takes to see like the full results, then I can be like, okay, and this is my point right now, you know? So I think it's good to just bring them along with it. And it feels more authentic and genuine because they're actually witnessing it. And they are. They feel like they're a part of your life. And they are a part of my life.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
it's crazy because I feel
weird.
like really weirdly connected to my followers.
Well, it's all about relationships. In the end, when you're building these,
I talk to them like we message like
it's all about building relationships.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
why they trust you, and that's why this whole influencer space is such a great way of marketing, and it's really where the future is going. Like this year, it was a $5 billion industry.
Wow.
It's supposed to turn into a $10 billion industry in the next 5 years. So this is going nowhere. It's a medium that's just more organic. It's authentic.
Yeah.
It's a new wave of
feels
marketing
like it's the
and advertising.
different
It's
way.
better
sure.
to do this
It
than
feels like just
magazines or
print is
Print's
dinosaur.
dead.
Yeah, it's old.
I mean, and touching on what she said, like the thing is that like literally anyone could do that. Even if you're not making like a really good amount of money and you're not like a top influencer, you can still do it because like you're still asking your friend like, what skincare do you recommend? Or like, hey, my face is breaking out. What should I do for this? You know what I mean? And like just making that suggestion, like you're being an influencer. So like you might as well, I mean, you can write about it if you, like I enjoy writing. So like, yeah, just talk about it or just talk about it on, like I have friends that aren't like full on influencers. Like that's what they do, but like they touch on it and like they'll go on there and talk about whatever product they're using at the time, like the essential oils or the Whole 30, like stuff like that, and they're still educating people. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So now there is so many though. This brings up
George is like, I agree, Mom. There's a lot.
yeah, now it is becoming saturated, but every field is saturated. I mean, there's a lot of models in New York. There's a lot of actors in LA. Everything is saturated. There's always room for something. There's always room for greatness, though, no matter how saturated it is. With that being said, though, you have to set yourself apart. Like for me, a pretty Instagram feed is not enough anymore. People love the Insta story where they can really see into your life and see your personality. It just takes a little bit more. So the pretty Instagram feed is great.
Because it used to be if you had a pretty Instagram feed,
that's how it started.
But now with Insta stories, people want to see. That's the
video is even
Insta story, I feel like is honest to God the best thing that they have ever done.
To show your personality.
That has skyrocketed my engagement and technically my following. I feel like that's like, I prefer Insta story, and I have started to pitch that to brands because I'm like, that's actually authentic to me because it takes
You're not trying to make it filtered or anything like that. You're just throwing
but
it up
it takes
there.
the consumer at least 3 times to see a product before they usually bite the bullet and make a decision on it. Like I can post about it on my Instagram feed and it's beautiful and it's there, but like it might put it in their mind, but then like if they see it on Ashley's feed and they see it on this person's feed, it might take them like 3 times to actually make the purchase. If they
Like
see
all
you
these-
using it in your daily life and you're constantly talking about it, that's more making that sell for that consumer than just posting one picture about it.
The Instagram feed, at least for me, is more of an artistic outlet.
I agree.
So the Instagram feed is artistic. It's carefully curated. It's got a cohesive look to it. It's about the editing and the photography, and that's fun for me because it's an artistic space and it's supposed to be that. And then this Insta story and the video, and even YouTube vloggers and all these things, that's where it gets deeper and shows your personality and shows, like you were saying, the product in more detail. So you might have a pretty picture of the product that kind of spikes their
they can
interest.
use that kind of for an ad as well.
Right,
Like, that's
yeah,
more
it's a pretty-
their ad.
Like more of a typical
You're creating an ad for
like
them.
a typical ad, like no different than a picture in a magazine.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
But then what penetrates even deeper is the video where you're explaining it or where you're opening it. You can go from the whole, like she was saying, the whole process, opening it out of the
yes,
package,
girl.
trying it.
On your Insta
All of
stories.
it. Yeah, and it's a
And also
great
you can
space.
save those Insta stories now too.
Yeah,
because
you
I've
can put
noticed
them
that
on
you
your-
can. And you can organize them by what they are,
The
so they don't have
highlights,
to go
yes,
away. So
yes.
that's also great now that you don't have to
Brands
get
are
rid of it.
also
Brands
starting
love
to
that,
catch
yeah.
on to that, and like that's part of a lot of my deals now. Like is
Make it permanent Insta story.
no, or just talking about it on
Talking
Insta
about
stories
it,
too.
yeah.
It's not even
Your
just on my
review,
feed
yeah.
anymore. And and I feel like catch-22 about this, but like I feel like not as many people are doing like actual blog posts. They're
Now
doing,
Chelsea's here, the photographer. We got the whole party happening.
but like they
all day. The yellow
companies
ones
aren't wanting
so
actual blog
gross.
posts
I
as
mean,
much
wow,
anymore.
so
We
gross.
can't have side conversations. Sorry.
You're good.
Okay.
But like a lot of companies I've realized aren't wanting as many blog posts. They're wanting more directed towards Instagram and then like the Insta stories and video content. Which is fine, but at the same time, I love to write, so I kind of want the blog post. But that's also given me, and Ashley too, because I've noticed she's doing that.
We're picking all up. Sorry.
Sorry,
It's just like, damn, we gotta go.
no, you're good. It's giving us more of an opportunity to like really write, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. Because now I can write actual articles that I've been wanting to write, but I
Right.
haven't had time because I'm like doing all this stuff, and now I'm getting paid pretty well to just do like Instagram photos, which are a lot easier to me,
Yes,
but it's
totally.
still creating content for that brand that's helping them, but I'm not having to like put all of my resources into a blog post,
Right.
and I can funnel more like my creativity and my writing for the blog post, or I can have more time to do YouTube videos, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, totally.
So but you're still creating like beautiful content for them on your Instagram feed, which is essentially what they want. And now with the Insta stories, they have that background of it, to where before you would have to write like a blog post for them to have the background.
I think the magic happens for brands and an influencer whenever there's a couple things done first. Whenever they let their expectations be known in writing, because it's still like the Wild West in this whole space. It's pretty crazy. There's no Actors Guild where there's a scaled pay, and there's
Right.
it's very Wild West, and so it's kind of figuring it out. But there's a couple things that I've learned the hard way that make everybody happy in the long run.
Okay.
And it's putting the expectations up from the get-go. So when a
Love
brand really knows what they want, when she was saying sometimes they want an Insta story, sometimes they want like a review like that, sometimes they just want a pretty picture that they can use for their own marketing needs and also siphon your audience. Whatever they may want, putting those expectations in writing from the beginning of the process.
I love that.
Then, and in writing is important because
You can always reference it.
you can reference it, and it's important to have contracts now
Oh, I agree.
because
Yeah.
you really don't want to get yourself in a bad situation. So just laying it out in a very simple contract, laying all the expectations out. Then letting the brand who's paying you or who's giving you the product or whatever it may be, letting them have some creative guidance. So I've even been telling them lately, send me a mood board, send me a picture of something that you really like. Tell me where the campaign's going. Let me know the hashtags. What's the feel of the campaign? Really
Love that.
letting them have that guidance, I call it.
Yes.
And then giving up, and then when a brand gets too guided and too control, has too much control, it doesn't work because
They're essentially paying you as the
and it
creative,
doesn't
so
come-
yeah,
it
it's
doesn't
not
come
authentic to
out
you.
as authentic,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
So-
guidance, but not control.
Guidance but not control. So setting up the expectations, then the brand having guidance but not control, then the creative having creative control to do what they take that
To
to
mean.
be and to mean, and what fits their life and is authentic with their life
Love
and
that.
resonates with their audience because they know their audience, and obviously the brand wants to tap into that audience because it's the same demographic of them or whatever it may be. So giving them that control and then executing it correctly. So executing the picture, having a great photography, having all the correct hashtags, having a great captivating caption, whatever it may be, executing that all the way through. And then on top of that, so everything being laid out, expectations, deciding who's, all the design control, then I already forgot the last
No,
one.
creative caption.
Totally lost.
No, but this is great. It's creative caption
captioning
and
everything.
executing it by.
Executing it, and then on top of that, after it's all executed, keeping a long-term relationship
Yeah.
going with them because
That's the best
campaigns
ones, yeah.
do not do as well because it doesn't come across as authentic
Something
and real.
like you guys were saying earlier. This is your real life. You really use this,
Yes.
so you
Yes.
want to keep that
So
relationship.
keeping a relationship with brands where you're doing a campaign every spring and fall, or whatever it may be,
Or yeah, or
4
you're
times
just
a
working
year,
with them
just
again,
working
period.
with them again,
Yeah.
not just one-offs.
that.
Really, that's where the magic happens.
Because I love that you guys are writing this down. It is real. Like
It is
y'all
real,
want this to
yeah.
be real. You're promoting
Well,
stuff, you're selling stuff, but only stuff you believe.
And
in.
not everyone
Not
does,
everyone's
but
like that,
we
but
do,
I don't
yeah.
think it is a long-term business
It's just a quick
it's
paycheck
not,
for
yeah.
them, you know.
And for you guys, this is your life. This is your brand. Okay, so we got to wrap up.
Yeah.
Tell me a piece of advice that you would tell a blogger wanting to get started. What would you tell them?
Knock it out, Ash.
Go ahead.
What's the best piece of advice you could tell a new person wanting to get involved?
Do your research and don't take the easy way out.
So what does not taking the easy way out mean?
Buying followers.
Don't buy followers.
Doing multiple international giveaways, buying likes, comments, all of
It's
that.
not gonna.
It's just
gonna
not
go
real.
authentic.
And I mean, and try to grow yourself organically in the beginning also. Just because like that's your strong point, because
That's who you are.
yeah, you're figuring everything out, and
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I don't want to talk more because I feel like I'm
it's
calling people out.
a slow process. That's what people have to realize. It's a lot of work. It's not just putting a pretty picture up. It's a lot of work. It's branding. It's marketing. It's SEO optimization. It's figuring out the Instagram algorithms constantly changing and how to manipulate them.
How do you figure those out?
It's just
trial and error.
Trial and error. And the only way to combat all these algorithm changes is being authentic and creating content that is high quality and that answers a question of what people are needing.
Yes.
And so just really knowing that it's going to take a long time.
And it does.
Not taking the easy way out, and just always creating the highest quality content you can.
And authentic.
I mean, Ash and I have been doing this for like 2 years, 2 years plus, like around
Yeah.
the same time. So like I feel like we're seasoned in the fact that we've done a lot of trial and error.
Yep.
And it didn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
Like
No.
people
It
can
takes
ask
a
us for
long
advice
time.
right now, but like it took a full year
You
before I
stuck
even
with
made
it.
money, period.
Yeah.
So
Totally.
and then it took another 6 months before I was making an actual income.
Yep.
And essentially, it is your life. So everyone's brand is so different because everyone's
Yeah.
life is so unique to them, and everyone's brand is unique to them. So there's no cookie cutter way to do this. There's
Yeah.
no business plan laid out to do this. Everyone's is different. It is trial and error. There are some things that you can do to push the mistakes down and not have as many mistakes, but it is trial and error, and it is hard work. That's all.
It is a lot of work. Just
a lot
don't
of work.
expect
Yeah.
it to be easy. Don't go in it thinking that it's
It's
just
gonna
like
be
an easy job and
not
you're going to
just-
be like
it's
a
not
big
just gonna be a blogger.
It's
sensation.
not
Yeah.
just taking. I think that the mistake lies in that people think it's
You
just
just take
taking
pretty
pretty
pictures.
pictures and getting free stuff, and that's the farthest from the truth. There's
Right.
so much thought, marketing,
Well,
PR,
furthermore,
research. that
free
goes
stuff
into
doesn't pay your
everything.
bills. So like
Right.
at first that's great too. And I'm not going to lie, I did a lot of free stuff in the beginning,
Right.
but like
And you have to pay taxes.
you have to pay
on that
taxes
stuff.
on that stuff. So
really
it's
not
actually
free.
exactly, and you're having to probably pay for a photographer. Like I know a lot of people have their husbands or friends do that, but you're still spending your time to create that content. So make sure it's worth it.
Right.
Totally.
Don't just and I made that mistake. I'm saying that. So like
Right.
I would just take things in the beginning, and now I don't even take I'm like, no, I don't need. It's just sitting in my house. Like it
But
doesn't.
also, as a community, the bloggers community is really kind of joined forces and joined together to say we're not doing this for free anymore because we are valuable.
Yeah.
Right.
We do have influence. We have an overhead. We have photography. We have our time, and our time is worth something.
Totally.
This
Yeah.
is worth something. So if everybody just starts taking it for free, then it loses
It's value.
it
Yeah.
loses its value. So
Yeah.
when everyone pushes together and says we're all going to charge a fair amount, but
Yeah.
an amount that compensates us for our time, our
Yeah.
creative direction, our photography, our overhead, and when everybody pushes together and does that, eventually the space will change. And brands are realizing that this is the way to go and that it's worth the value.
Okay, so we're gonna wrap up. Leave
Yeah,
real light.
we're done.
I do all my interviews. Leave real light. So leave inspiration. How you want to inspire people. How you want your life to inspire people. What you've learned that's inspiration you want to share with people. It doesn't have to necessarily be about blogging. Just how do you want to inspire people that are following you?
And this is the goal of my blog. I want to inspire other women by showing them that they're not alone, and because I feel like that's the main thing. People feel so stressed out every day, especially moms, and that's, I mean, God, I get off the topic. Sorry, that's like the number one thing I'm sure Ashley gets too. But like just people being like, "Thank you for being real. Thank you for being real. Thank you for showing like the real sides of motherhood, the real sides of life." And so I just want people to know that they're not alone, and
It's hard.
life's hard, but you can do it.
You can
Yeah.
do it. I love that.
Okay, so this is what we share. We have this bond over positive thinking, manifesting your dreams.
Love it.
And I think that if I had to leave my light, it would be that it is not easy to think that way and to be that way, but every single day you wake up and you choose to get it all done. You choose to be happy. You choose to think in a positive way. You choose to encourage other women instead of being competitive. It's a choice. It's a hard choice, and it takes a lot of work. You choose to have a baby on each hip and still work and
Just
do
let
all
it be
these
fine.
things. And you just have to choose to put yourself in a positive mindset and put yourself where it's all going to get done, and give yourself grace when it doesn't. And that's it.
I love that. I love you, ladies. Y'all
I
are
love
good.
you too.
Okay, so we got Bose
Aw.
and Ashley.
Bose and Ashley.
BeausAndAndAshley.
Yes.
And we got Nashville Wife Styles, Nashville Wife Styles, not Lifestyles.
Yes.
Yes.
The Ashleys,